She spent her days saving lives. 3 kids, 12-hour shifts, a laugh that could shake the walls, and one man who couldn't let her go. They say when a woman finally leaves, that's when she's in the most danger. Jasmine Singleton did everything right, and she still ended up dead on her kitchen floor. This is Cigar and the Crime. Welcome back, CNC family. I'm your host, Dr. D, and tonight's story is one we can't afford to ignore. It's the kind that forces us to sit with our discomfort, confront the silence around domestic violence, and say the victim's name out loud. This episode is titled The Light She Carried, the story of Jasmine Singleton. Our cigar of the night is the Arturo Fuente Hemingway Signature. It's soft to the touch, but bold on the burn, just like Jasmine. This one demands patience, and that's exactly what we're going to be giving her story. Tonight, we're just not examining a crime. We're remembering a woman, a mother, a nurse, a sister, a voice that deserved more time. So light it up, lean in, and listen, because what happened to Jasmine could happen to any of us. On the night of October 20th, 2025, in Clinton, Mississippi, the kind of town where families plant roots, where nurses like Jasmine work double shifts and still come home in time to kiss their kids goodnight. But that Monday night shattered that routine. Around 10:58 p.m., police responded to reports of gunfire. Jasmine was found shot multiple times, dead on her kitchen floor. The man accused, her ex-boyfriend, Carl Mack. Within 24 hours, he was arrested and charged with murder. But to understand the depth of this story, we need to go back before the crime, back to who Jasmine was. Let's get into Jasmine's background a little bit. She was born and raised in Mississippi, in the Jackson area. Jasmine was the eldest of 2 sisters. She and her younger sister, Deandra, were inseparable. Jasmine's life was rooted in love, faith, and silence. She attended local schools in Jackson where she formed lifelong friendships. One of them, in particular, was Christine Cody. She became her makeup artist years later. That's the kind of woman Jasmine was. Once she let you in, you were family to her. At 45, Jasmine had built a life centered around caregiving. She was a registered nurse and had even worked as a travel nurse for some time, taking assignments wherever she needed. She specialized in care, not just in her clinical skills, but in the way she made people feel. Her patients described her as comforting, kind, and patient. Her colleagues even said that she was the nurse they trusted the most in crisis. She spent her life saving others. As one account described, always willing to go the extra mile for the well-being of her patients and colleagues. Her gentle demeanor and bright smile made her a confident presence in any hospital room or clinic. While specific accolades or awards from her career haven't been widely publicized, it's clear that Jasmine took pride in her profession. She was often the reassuring voice and steady hands that families trusted in the most vulnerable moments. In short, nursing wasn't just a job for Jasmine. It was a calling rooted in her desire to serve and heal others. But Jasmine wasn't just a nurse. She was a devoted mother of 3, and her kids were her world. Friends say she worked overtime not because she had to, but because she wanted to give them everything. In fact, Jasmine's love for her children guided major decisions in her personal life. Relatives even noted that she ended an unhealthy relationship in order to protect her 3 children, putting their safety first. She was a woman who sang backup for her sister during karaoke nights, who laughed with her whole chest, who believed that loving people deeply was worth the risk. Jasmine was in a relationship with the asshole Carlton Mack. Carlton wasn't new to law enforcement. At 42, he had a documented history of domestic violence. Jasmine's relationship with him was marked by volatility, control, and threats. Eventually, she just had enough. Friends and family recounted that Jasmine spoke up about this abuse, trying to get out of this toxic relationship. But it wasn't enough. As Deandra sadly noted, this troubled history set the stage for the tragic events that would later unfold. According to Deandra, Jasmine's sister, Jasmine had ended the relationships months before her death, determined to protect her children. She spoke up, she left. She did everything we asked victims to do. But Mac, he wouldn't let go. He stalked her. He showed up. And in those final weeks, Jasmine expressed fear that he would retaliate. She knew the risk. Her sister said Jasmine was doing everything right, but it wasn't enough. The night of the crime, on October 20th, started like any other day. Jasmine had just finished her shift. She was making dinner. She was checking on the kids. She even talked with her sister. By 10:58 p.m., the silence of Cedar Hills Drive was broken by gunfire. Neighbors heard the shots and looked out their windows just in time to see a gold Chevy Tahoe speeding away. Inside, Jasmine was gone. Surveillance footage confirmed that witnesses described that this gold Tahoe belonged to Carl Mack. He fled the scene, leaving behind a motherless home and a shattered family. The next day, police found the Tahoe abandoned in Jackson. The vehicle was a smoking gun, and Mack's history made him the prime suspect. U.S. Marshals joined the manhunt. By October 22nd, they found Mack hiding in Bolton, of all places. He was arrested without incident and charged with first-degree murder and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. This case against him is strong. We have witnesses, surveillance, a motive, and a goddamn pattern. But for Jasmine's family, the arrest doesn't erase the pain. Jasmine's sister Deandra has become a fierce voice in the aftermath. Her grief is raw. Her words are powerful. She mentioned, "Why did you do that to my sister? My only sister. My oldest sister." She called Mack a coward. Said he couldn't handle a rejection. So he took the life of a woman who simply wanted peace. The Clinton community, it held vigils, shared photos, lit candles, and echoed Deandra's call. Listen to the red flags, to the women raising boys, future men. Ask yourself this. Are we nurturing the same behaviors we often cry out against? Are we raising the very men we later warn our daughters about? Let's be honest. This case should make all of us angry. Jasmine Singleton wasn't in the wrong place at the wrong time. She wasn't reckless. She wasn't silent. She was a woman who did everything right. She recognized abuse. She walked away. She protected her children. She spoke up. But the system didn't protect her. Society didn't act fast enough. And the man who should have faced consequences for his past was still free to pull the trigger. This is the second case in which we're talking about violence and people with a past in violence. Jasmine's story is not rare. That's the most gut-wrenching part of this. Every day, women across this country live in fear. And every day, some of them don't make it out. Not because they were weak, but because the people around them, the systems around them, failed to intervene. So what do? We educate. We check on our friends. We support survivors before the headlines. And if you're someone who's listening tonight, who's trapped in fear, know this. You're not alone. Your story doesn't have to end like Jasmine's. There is help. There is hope. And for the rest of us, never let your silence be louder than someone else's cry for help. Jasmine Singleton was more than her final moment. She was music. She was laughter. She was love. And the world is dimmer without her. I want to give you some statistics. Black women in America face some of the highest rates of domestic violence. Nearly half will experience it in their lifetime. They are 3 times more likely to be killed by a partner than white women, often with a gun in their own home. And yet, they are less likely to be believed, protected, or supported. Fear of the police, cultural stigma, and systemic neglect silence them long before a gun ever does. This isn't just a crisis, it's a deadly pattern. And Jasmine Singleton was one of far too many. Tonight's Cigar, this Arturo Fuente Hemingway, burns slow and steady, like Jasmine's love for her children, like her dedication to healing others, like the legacy she leaves behind. But it's not enough to remember. We have to act. So if this episode moved you, share it. Talk about it. Speak Jasmine's name. If you want to hear more stories like this, please follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Subscribe to Cigar and the Crime, wherever you get your podcasts. Drop us a comment, leave a review. Tell us what cases you want us to cover. Because we're not just telling stories, we're building a community that believes in justice, accountability, and never letting victims be forgotten. If you are someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, you are not alone. Please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-SAFE, 1-800-799-SAFE, 7233. Available 24/7. It is free and it is confidential. Text START to 88788 or chat online at thehotline.org. Help is real, support is here, and your life matters. Thank you guys. Next week, I'll say this, the story of Sonia Massey next week. But for tonight, we hold space for Jasmine. This is Cigar and the Crime. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and stay loud.